Philosopher Shmuel Trigano critiques the tradition of the social contract, calling it the major leitmotif of modern covenantal philosophy. Today, we explore how covenant reframes freedom, community, and the human condition. 3 pillars guide us: berit, covenant; chesed, gratuitous gift; and rachamim, mercy. Trigano distinguishes Rousseau's social contract from the Hebraic concept of the covenant, the berit. The contract imagines society as a pact of consent among autonomous individuals. The covenant grounds community in gift and call, linking freedom to responsibility and transcendence. Rousseau's contract mythically founded society on a tabula rasa, erasing heritage in favor of individual will and freedom. In this erasure, memory yields to will. Tradition gives way to design. The person is imagined prior to community, exercising pure choice before any shared story. However, how can an individual exist without a community and a shared story? The origin of society remains unthought and unthinkable in the social contract theory. There is a gap between the presumed origin of society and the current reality. Trigano links this gap to the irrationality of certain conservative theories of polity. Forms of order lacking a generative source leave a fracture in the civic soul. The structures of society take on the character of unexplained natural realities. The contract's aspiration to universality also demands the negation of the particular, requiring the total alienation of each associate to the community. The value of differences recedes, and the individual is sacrificed to the abstract whole. Consent, political agreement, when detached from persons and stories, become an abstract and faceless reality. By leaving the origin of the contract unthought, a void occupied by none persists at the heart of modern society. The real source of our living together is no longer thought. Institutions stand, but their personal presence is missing. Bureaucracies emerge. Without a speaking source, politics echoes in an empty hall. The polity has become an impersonal system of actions and procedures. In contrast, the covenant rests on mercy, rahamim, and the gratuitous gift, chesed. The generosity of the gift precedes any economic calculation. The relation between individuals precedes the contract that binds their will but effaces their personal voices. Mercy, on the other hand, answers to human fragility with presence, not with calculation and abstraction. Central to Trigano's covenantal philosophy is disappearance, aulam. The covenant addresses the void inherent in secular models. Paradoxically, the possibility of real and personal presence appears through the act of self-withdrawal. The covenant supports the human voice, the real presence of human beings to each other, amid the power of the world's ebb and flow. In Hebrew, to make an alliance means to cut it. The root caret signifies cessation. To covenant is, paradoxically, to disappear. A cut limits, but it also opens the way for life. The disappearance of a homogeneous mass creates space. Boundaries shape freedom and give it a path, not leaving it to a void. This disappearance reflects existence itself. The covenant, berit, is tied to creation, beria, from the root bara, to cut. Creation sets apart, separates, and forms a world within limits. The rivers cut through the landscape, draws a path where life can flow. Being comes forth through restraint, appearance happens through hiddenness. Creation involves divine withdrawal, tzimtzum, making space for the world. Without this covenantal structure, existence dissolves into nothingness. There is a fundamental grace operating within the covenant. Space is given, not seized. It creates room for the other to be. The covenantal restraint creates the capacity to act. The vessel holds something by what is not there. The withdrawal that is required by the covenant is not absence. It is a condition for presence. Something can be present only in what has withdrawn itself. Because the world essentially slips away and needs to do so, the covenant cannot be governed by strict equality. Its ethic is grace, chesed, and mercy, rahamim. Not everything human fits into measured equivalence. Care for others transcends the calculation of cost and gain. The dignity of an individual precedes the system of reward and desert. Mercy is a surplus, a more than the natural that heals the deficit. Hesed governs disappearance by withholding judgment, granting humans the time to do and to become. A political ethics of compassion, not rationalistic self-grounding. Becoming, the dynamic system of politics, requires patience. Justice begins in forbearance. The necessary delay is not a denial. It is the ecology of growth. Time given in which to exist is the first political mercy. Covenant politics grounds deliberation and consensus in the real presence of people towards each other, not in calculation and abstraction. A voice precedes a vote. There must be speech that binds people together before there are rules that compel. Consent remains an important goal, but in covenant politics it is enriched by the graces of gift and responsibility. Solidarity needs to be practiced, not merely proclaimed as political abstraction. Mercy enters absence with the light of clarity, not with the violence of domination. Covenant is the kind of politics that approaches with care and asks, listens, and only then acts. The continuous practice of true hospitality answers a world that could disappear. Reading itself is covenantal, receiving, responding, returning. Trigano is thinking here of the reading of the Torah, the founding stories and principles of a nation. Transcendence does not cancel intimacy, it grounds it. Ethical forms shelter life against the void. The covenant permeates the civic movements and actions with mercy. These movements are therefore sustained not by certainty, but by fidelity. Freedom matures when entrusted, not when it is seized. Trigano turns to the Bible to explain this political ethic by connecting it with a people and a story. We enter the narrative of voice and hands, of struggle and blessing. In Jacob, compassion learns to prevail over force. The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau, says Isaac. Israel's mission is to rediscover and apply compassion and mercy. The Spirit speaks in breath with a voice that calls without coercing. Power can serve society, but only when it is restrained by compassion. Jacob's struggle transforms him into Israel. And now society is linked to the star of Jacob. He learns to receive the name Israel, a name he cannot seize. From struggle emerges a vocation to carry blessing through restraint. Jacob says, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." His camps and withdrawals into places of presumed safety symbolize conflict, struggle, and transformation. The voice of Jacob, spirit and compassion, must prevail over the hands of Esau, power and force. Sometimes withdrawal into different spaces protects the possibility of peace. Judgment begins with listening, time before verdict. Force serves justice, only when connected with compassion. Contract assumes the isolated chooser. Covenant calls the responsible receiver. In making space for others, society finds its center. Rituals of reconciliation embody covenantal politics. Build spaces that invite presence and protect voice. Politics needs a horizon beyond itself to remain humane. Petition binds us to promise. Hope steadies practice. The face restores what systems forget. For Trigano, the covenant embodies the human ideal. A politics of mercy, gift, and transcendence. Gift restores presence. Mercy redeems time. The void is not filled by force, but addressed by fidelity. May our politics remember the covenant. Mercy over void, presence over abstraction, gift over erasure. Let's relinquish the social contract perspective on society.